Hey, this isn't really a vlog channel, but I am very tired and very sick. You can probably tell because of the different sound in my voice. Everything is in my sinuses right now. So I thought I would just record some of my thoughts on something that's been on my mind for a long, long time. If you can hear the sound of my voice, chances are good that you're a cyborg. And that sounds ridiculous at first, I'm sure, but let's look at what cyborg actually means. It means that you and some tool are in some kind of symbiotic relationship. The tool somehow extends your body. The fact that you wear clothes on its own is evidence enough to make you count as a cyborg. Some of us are cyborgs in more integrated ways, like my glasses extend my actual vision. We've all given ourselves additional senses, like a more accurate way to measure time or direction. All of these things definitely count. But you don't actually need the word cyborg. I consider my gear to be an extension of myself. I am my stuff in the same way that I am my body. The way that if my knife gets damaged, I would have to either replace it or repair it. And repairing it is a very labor-intensive, expensive process. But so is repairing a broken limb. This idea of gear as an extension of ourselves is a more plausible idea than it used to be because of the existence of things like phones, where we offload so much of our mind into the phone. It is your calculator, it is your memory, your way of recording pictures and video, and how you keep track of all of your contacts, and how you keep track of what you yourself have said to different people, in what order. It keeps a mostly perfect memory of the conversations that you have. Your phone keeps track of a lot, and in a way, your phone is your mind. It is an offloaded and an externalized piece of your mind. And that's part of why I identify so closely with my stuff. It's not because it's material possessions, it's because it is a part of me. I used to say that I am more attached to my computer than I am to my own flesh body. I would feel like it was a greater loss to lose the use of computers than to lose the use of my legs. And to an extent, that's probably still true. To my life, my computer probably contributes more to what I'm able to do than my legs do. And if I don't have my stuff, not all of my stuff, mind you, but if I don't have the parts of me that are me, certain parts of my kit, my knife, my watch, my glasses, my hat, I feel like I am less myself. Like that moment between when you get out of the shower and when you get dressed, that feels off to me. I feel way more vulnerable, useless, incapable of things. Like even this necklace right here is another one because I like having Paracord on me, because it serves so many other functions. It's things that I can just do. I carry a tiny little tape measure that I got at a state fair because I often wonder about the lengths of things. There's so many little things like that that are more me. Even my hat right here, although it's a little bit more evident if you see me with my regular businessy hat, this hat also works by itself. This is the way that I wear my hat for most of the time. The ridge of the hat essentially forms my eyebrows to most people. And this is convenient to me because people don't talk to you in public if you don't make eye contact. So if I just tilt my head down slightly when I'm walking through a Walmart or something like that, I can see everything, but they don't feel obligated to address me in any way, and I can just go about my business and leave everybody alone, and they can leave me alone, and I don't have to spend the effort on people. That makes me sound like a really antisocial, lonely person, and I assure you that's not the case. I just don't want to be bothered when it's 11 at night and I'm walking through the store. But the hat also serves the opposite purpose. Like if I go from here to here, that is a very different atmosphere of face. It completely changes my face and the way that I read. Like, look at that. Is that not a much happier version of me? I can when I modify this, it also changes the way that I hear the world. This cupping shape to my hat makes my voice seem louder to me, and so it keeps my voice down. But if I tilt the back up like that, now all of a sudden my voice is able to be louder naturally, the way that my voice is on its own. Not right now, obviously, because I've still got a sore throat and everything, but I like having the hat because it allows you to have expressions that you cannot have without the hat. Things like that. Or pulling the brim down like that to indicate I can't look at this sort of feeling. It's even more pronounced with the hat that you're much more likely to see me in if you ever see me in a professional context. Whenever I'm at a show or a convention and I'm weaving, I'm usually wearing this hat, the Australian Akua, because it is very, very signature. It feels like me when you see me. By the way, I've been told that the shape of my face and head and everything changes dramatically depending on my different headgear. Make of that what you will. The straight-on version of it is not quite so pronounced over the eyes as the bucket hat. But you know what's much more pronounced? If I tilt it back and let it ride high on my head, there's this huge highlighting to me. It looks a lot more inviting. It has the brightness to the face. And I can straighten out that way, or I can straighten out that way. That's the getting to business motion, where you start in this nice, happy, social place, and now you're serious. The level of expression there is missing from not having the hat. Or if somebody says something confusing or off-kilter or something like that, I tilt my hat this way. It's like turning your entire head into an emoji. It's a cartoonish level of expression. I might even compare it to like cat ears, you know? The phone that you're watching me through is always in a holster on my side here. I've always got a flashlight. I've always got this necklace. Those are signature elements of me that you can recognize in the same way that you know what the shape of my nose looks like, or the sound of my voice. And actually, more of those things than the sound of my voice, because obviously the sound of my voice changes depending on the condition that I'm in. I'm starting to get a little hoarse here. Man, I got really down the rabbit hole talking about hats. Can you tell that hats are important to me? I have heard the opposite argument of this, that you can take this away, you can remove this, but you can remove this. And if I'm still me when you remove this, how's that any different from this? There's another part to this too. There's the way that our stuff pushes back on our mind. If you've ever heard about something called enclothed cognition, which is a really fancy way of saying you behave differently according to what you put on to yourself. You know that people in red cars get in more accidents than people in blue cars? It's because they identify that red color with themselves when they get into that car. That car is now according to your brain, a part of your body. That car is you. If somebody rear ends you, you don't think, somebody hit my car. You think, somebody hit me. That is you. And so parts of that persona you take on when you get into the car, or when you wear something like that. It makes you feel different. And I don't know from experience, but I think that's probably why girls like makeup so much, is because it changes how you feel as yourself, not about yourself. It's one of the key components, I think, of role-playing in video games. You act like a different person when you take on this character, because you identify that as part of yourself. And that applies to your actual real-life character design. When you dress differently, you behave differently. Maybe not that far out. I mean, you're not going to turn into Mickey Mouse, and you're not going to turn into Kratos. But there is a difference. If you pay attention, you can tell the difference between the different versions of yourself that you portray in these different contexts. As you take on different clothing, different gear, different mannerisms. There's more to us than just what's inside. The inside meets the outside and unifies as one item one organism, top to bottom. And I don't want anybody to think of this as materialism either, because this is not about having stuff. It's not about any object in particular. It's about the things that we take on that become a part of us. The goal of materialism is to just get more stuff. That devalues the things. That is the opposite of what I'm talking about. That's a thought that had been occupying a lot of my mind for a couple years that I didn't really have vented in any place that I could refer to. My kidneys hurt. Why do my kidneys hurt? These things that become close to us, that become a part of us, they change us. And knowing that, you should be discerning of the things that you let into your life. You should be specific and chosen and make these things and make them custom to you and make them you. It's better when things are more meaningful that way. How much of your stuff is just stuff and how much of your stuff is you? Look at yourself right now. What do you have? Is that you?